Random House Audio presents Millionaire Wives Club by Tu-Shonda L. Whitaker. Read for you by Bahni Turpin. What's love got to do with it? Tina Turner. Season 1. The Club. Millions of dollars in premier fashions and champagne diamonds were on display at Manhattan's 40/40 Club as four ultra-rich and uber-successful women, America's newest addition to reality TV, strolled the red carpet and smiled at the flashing lights of the paparazzi. The clicking of their designer stilettos was like exquisite steel-pan beats as they crossed the club's threshold, and the sultry sounds of Maxwell's live performance filled the air. Despite their individual insecurities and doubts, at this moment as they sauntered into the sunrise of superstardom, what mattered most was that they'd gotten their own piece of the latest in rich bitch candy. Ladies! A reporter from E! News said, motioning for the four of them to come together and meet him across the room. Can you all tell us a little about yourselves? He looked at the woman to his left. May we start with you? I'm Milan Starks, wife of the great Yusef Detruve Starks, number 23 on the New York Knicks. A lovely mix of her cinnamon-brown Dominican father and golden-skinned African-American mother, Milan had an effortless beauty that didn't require makeup or facials to be perfect. She had a Marilyn Monroe mole on the corner of her top lip, hazel eyes, and her Beyoncé-like hips were a size 10, 12 at most, and she had a true apple bottom. Wasn't he suspended? Evan Malik said, and then quickly covered her mouth. Oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to say that. He was suspended, the reporter said, following up on Evan's comment. Do you want to tell us how you feel about that? He asked Milan. My husband is a great man, Milan smiled. Sure, he hit a rough patch, but he's on his way back and will be better than ever. Thank you, Mrs. Starks. Now on to you, Mrs. Malik, he said to Evan. Is it true that you were the first to be cast for the show? Milan shifted her weight from one Christian Louboutin python pump to the other, praying the nausea she felt as she sized up Evan would go away. Evan stood 5'11", fabulously slender, a figure-8 shape, and skin the color of butterscotch. Her hair was cut in a short and spiky Halle Berry-inspired do, with touches of honey blonde that glimmered in the spotlights. Milan hated that she and Evan had ended up in the same circle, because every time she saw Evan, heard Evan's voice, and was in her presence, Milan was forced to deal with the fact that Evan had won. Evan had ended up with the only man who made Milan feel true love was obtainable. Kendu. But since image was everything in this business, Milan planned to do her damnedest and pretend that they were all friends, even if the knife she had for Evan's back weighed down her Chloe clutch. Why, of course, sweetie, Evan said. Who wouldn't want to start with me? She winked. It's been 5 minutes. Chauncey Morgan, Milan's neighbor and one of the four co-stars, whispered to Milan while maintaining a smile. And already I'm sick of this bitch. Did she forget that she was a video hoe? Seems so, Milan whispered back. Excuse you? Jace Williams, Evan's friend and their co-star, turned toward Milan and then eyed Chauncey. What did you just say? She snapped. I said that she looks fabulous. Milan smiled at Evan. She gives retired video hoes, vixens, a good name. Mm-hmm, Chauncey added, snapping her fingers in a Z motion. A true fashionista, you better work it, girl. So, Mrs. Malik, the reporter said, tell the world who you are and what it means to be on the show. Evan paused. The microphone pointed toward her, and the spotlight shining in her face caused her to draw a blank. There was no way she could say, Millionaire Wives Club is a last-ditch effort to save my life, something to keep me busy and silence the self-destructive thoughts running through my mind. And she definitely couldn't say, I may be married to Kendu Malik, linebacker for the New York Giants, but it's an unending struggle holding on to the motherfucker. Mrs. Malik, the reporter interrupted her thoughts. Is everything okay? Do you want to fill us in? Evan blinked and shot him a Barbie doll smile. I am a beautiful wife, she arched her eyebrows, an outstanding mother, and I have the talent and the foresight to seize the moment. And being on the show will allow all women to see what it takes to be me. And what exactly does that mean? The reporter probed. What she means, Chauncey mumbled to Milan, is that she thinks us peons are pissed that we didn't hit the same groupies party that she did. Milan tried not to laugh, but then couldn't hold it any longer, and when she looked at Chauncey, they both cracked up, neither one of them stopping until they noticed everyone standing around them was silent. Oh, the producer, Bridget, said to them, batting her eyes, don't stop on the boom mics, Accord. For rating's sake, carry on. Milan was embarrassed. The last thing she wanted was for her and Chauncey to be seen as the troublemaking pair. Milan pointed to the bar. Go and have a drink. I'll join you, Chauncey said, as Bridget motioned for the camera guy, Carl, to follow them. Once they were at the bar and had ordered their drinks, Carl tapped Chauncey on the shoulder. Both she and Milan turned around. When I cut the camera on, tell us what happened over there. Why'd you say those things? He turned the camera on and pointed it at them. Evan works my nerves, Chauncey said, popping her lips. I've known her for 3 days since we met at the studio, and already she's been in my life too long. She shot Milan a high five. And believe me, as editor-in-chief of Nubian Diva magazine, everyone knows that I'm too classy to lose my cool, but trust me, I will not hesitate to tap that ass. She pointed toward Evan. But since this is a nice place, Milan interrupted as she sipped her drink, we're not going to tear it up. So we're just going to sit here, Chauncey crossed her legs, and enjoy our evening, Milan added. Thanks, ladies. Carl smiled and turned away. Jace stared at the E! News reporter, wondering how she should introduce herself to the world. Should she tell people the made-for-TV parts of her life story, or should she lower the boom, let them know the truth, and maybe, just maybe, some sanity-teetering superwoman somewhere would understand that this single mother doing her thing bullshit was overrated. She stood next to Evan and her eyes shifted from the people mingling across the room to the reporter standing before them. Her open-toed pencil heels were aching her feet, and she wondered why she had committed to doing reality TV, especially when her post-divorce resolution was no drama. Yet here she was, drowning in it, all because she and Evan had sworn that cable's Millionaire Wives Club was the new bling they needed to rock. It was public knowledge that Jace had married and divorced ex-heavyweight champion Lawrence Williams, but she wondered if anyone knew how much she had suffered in silence during their marriage. She'd been slapped, punched, kicked, and humiliated almost daily by her ex, and if people didn't know it, would revealing it make hers a story of empowerment or weakness? Then again, maybe she would look like a shero if she revealed how she had walked out on Lawrence by placing a sedative in his nightly shot of Hennessy, wait for him to drift to sleep, grabbed her son, and then escaped to a battered woman's shelter. But she had been married to him for 7 years and never once publicly complained. There was no way she could now admit before the world that a man with money had clouded her judgment. And since some shit was better left unsaid, Jace stood there, waited for Evan to finish, and when the reporter turned to her, she had her intro down pat. Mrs. Williams, the reporter said, can you tell us
Sample complete. Ready to continue?